Hi, hello everyone. This is Vishwajit Krishna on behalf of strictlybi.com. Today we shall discuss about the most powerful and efficient language that data warehouse has ever seen. That is structured query language. The structured query language is aliasly is abbreviated as SQL. That is SQL. So we shall see what is SQL and basics of SQL. We shall see the history of it and how it arises. We shall discuss in detail in our class. So let us jump to the session so that I can open my notepad. Okay, SQL. Yes. What is SQL? SQL is nothing but a structured query language. What is a structured query language and where it has been used? We have come across so many languages like programming languages like C, C++, Java, so C Sharp. So these are these programming languages. So these are programming languages. But in order to query to the databases, we need a language in order to query to that database. That is what called as a structured query language. So this front-end programming languages is entirely different from this back-end programming languages. Okay, so now we are going to see what in detail what is SQL and what are the concepts behind SQL. So basically the SQL comes here in the concept of database. So what is a database? Database is nothing but it's a collection of data in the sense like records. Okay, so the database can be anything. So the database, it's a collection of data. Say for example, the data can be a group of Excel files, or a text file. So these, unless and until a file that has a data in it, that can be called as a database. So you can have some CSV file, you can have some data in the CSV file as well. So these can be called as the databases, but these are the very first databases that have been found before the evolution of DBMS. So what is DBMS? We shall see now the history of databases. So when it comes to history, there comes the flat files. So at first, at the earlier stages of the computer evolution, the data have been stored with the flat files, the Excel files, the CSV files, because since they don't have very real knowledge on the databases that we are using now today, so they have been using the flat files, Excels as the data sources. So later there comes a concept of DBMS. DBMS is nothing but database management system. So what is database management system? Actually here, in order to manage the data, it is a self-explanatory. Manages the data into a system. That is what called as a database management system. So at the early stages of database evaluation, so these the data in the flat files and Excels, and the data have been in a denormalized way. the data will be in a denormalized way. I'll tell what is a normalization process and denormalization process in the later classes. So the data as of now, what is denormalization? You just think of like the data is not in a proper manner. So the data will be like some of clumsy, data will not be in a particular order. So these kind of data have been found here in flat files, Excels and text files. So in order to manage the data efficiently, the concept of database management system have come into the account. So what does the database management system does? It stores all the data in tables. So these are the important terms that we are using in database levels. Tables. So what does the table have? The table has rows and columns. What does the table have? The table has rows and columns. So the examples of DBMS concepts is like Fox Pro, DBase, etc. These are the concepts of I think that it's Fox Pro. Okay. These are the concepts of DBMS, that is database management systems, and later there comes a concept of RDBMS. So where R stands for relational database management system. Relational DBMS. So why the relational DBMS have come? So in DBMS, they have found so many hazards in DBMS concepts. So what it is like, since for each and every file, for each and every data, they used to have separate tables, like separate tables, or they used to have a single table for large amount of data. Say for example, if there are so many columns, if there are 150 columns, they used to have in a single particular table itself. So what happens? The retrieval gets slower. The retrieval gets very much slower, and also the proper indexing, the data wouldn't be in a normalized way. So again and again I'm using the normalized term, so that I will discuss that in detail in our next class. The data won't be in a normalized way. So there comes a concept of DBMS. It was difficult to handle the DBMS. It was very difficult to handle DBMS. It was difficult to handle DBMS data, so they pitched on to RDBMS concepts. So what is an RDBMS? The relations are maintained. So what is a relation? Say for example, you are having a table A and table B. Sorry, please consider you are having a table A alone, that is a single table alone. In DBMS, we used to have so many columns like A, B, C, D. Consider these are the columns. So these data, there are so many n number of columns, etc. So the data will be in a large manner. So record would get inserted as 2. So these were the records that have been inserted in table A and etc. So consider these are the columns. And these are the values. Okay. So the data, when the data becomes larger and larger, the retrieval gets slower, and the insert update commands also become slower. So the concept of relational is like, instead of having having all the data in a particular in a single table, instead of having the data in a single table, the single table have been moved into many tables. How it is being linked? It is being maintained with the relations. Okay, so previously in DBMS concepts, so this is the DBMS concept. They have maintained all the data in a single table, and later they used to have a relational. They used to have all the data in many tables. That is how they are maintaining the tables, by maintaining a relation. What is a relation? So the relation is nothing but a common column or common key, so that to link between what is relation. A common key in both the table, maybe a key column. Exact word is key column in both the table. So instead of having a single table, they used to have the records in different tables with the relation of a common key. So what happens then? The retrieval, so instead of getting data from a single table, the people used to get the data from two different tables or many different tables. So the retrieval becomes easier, and the data storage, data is stored in a very particular manner, very particular order. Retrieval comes faster. The most important thing is the data is stored in a very great manner, so that the retrieval also becomes faster. Say for example, you are having an employee table. This employee table would accommodate the employee information like EID, E-name, salary, and what else, and email. Okay, and this is one table, and consider there is another table called department table. So this table would contain details on the departments. So DID, that is department ID, D name, that is department name. So what are the informations that we required in a department? So D name, that the department location, EMP strength. So these informations, please listen carefully, so in DBMS, these two informations have been stored in a single table. This employee table and department table have been stored in a single table. That's the concept of DBMS. But in our DBMS, they have two different tables. They have two. So say for example, they have two different tables, one for an employee and one for department. So they have two different tables, so that the data is stored in a particular manner. So in a simple and real-time way, consider in early ages, when you are going for market, we used to carry some jute bags, and we used to collect all the vegetables, all the grocery items in a single jute bags. That is the earlier stages of carrying a bag. So, and after that, what happens? We used to carry some tray kind of stuff. We can accommodate one for one for vegetables and other for grocery items. So in a trolley you can accommodate, you will in a supermarket you will have a trolley. One they in trolley they would have some portion for vegetables, and they would have some portion for grocery items. So that is the concept of relation. So instead of having all the data in a single table, the relational table, the relation table has the data in a two different tables or many tables. So the data is stored in a very secured manner and a very particular great order. So but how they are maintained? By maintaining the relational. So department ID. Okay, this is the relations here in. So how they are linked, how they are retrieved? So department ID is here and DID is here. So this is the relation. So you please no need to bother about what it is up to. So consider this is the same key column that we are having, that we should have for relational table. So if we are not maintaining a relational between these two tables, then it doesn't sound as a relation. Okay, then it will be as a separate two different tables as well. Okay, I think we are good with relational tables, relational RDBMS, and the examples of RDBMS is like SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, DB2, and etc, etc. Okay, so these are then the history has been, then there were new technologies that have been involved like ORDBMS. I'm not going to talk much on that. And later today the very big bang is the big data. So they used to store all the data in the file systems. So and etc. The innovations goes on. So as of now we are concerned only about this RDBMS. Since we are much more concerned on this RDBMS, so that is a SQL Server and Oracle. We are going to discuss more detail in SQL Server and Oracle in our later classes. So this is what the main the history. I think we are done with the history of structured query language and the concepts of databases where it arises. And the most another big bang and important thing is like what are the operations languages. Since we have told us as a structured query language, what are the languages? There are different types of languages that have been available. What are the types of languages? In SQL, the most important thing, please watch carefully, it is DML. One is DML, sorry, one is DDL, DML, TCL, DCL. So DDL is data definition language. DML is data manipulation language. TCL is transaction. What just happened? I just deleted something. Okay. TCL is nothing but transaction control language, and DCL is data control language. So never worry, it's like you need not, this is the most important terms that have been used in SQL Server. You need to understand what is DDL, what is DML, TCL and DCL. The concept behind DDL is, it's a self-explanatory. DDL is abbreviated as data definition language. So what happens, it is self-explanatory, it defines the data. So how far we are going to define the data? So by creating a data, altering a data and dropping the data. So these are the definitions. So we are going to define how far the data is going to be. So if you want to define about something, it has to be created. So if you are doing any other thing to that, you need to alter that, and this is, you can straight away drop that. So these comes under data definition language. DDL is nothing but create, alter and drop. So I'll tell what it is exactly used for and where it is used for. And data manipulation, again it's a self-explanatory, it is for manipulating the data. So what is a manipulation? What are the commands that you use for manipulation? Insert, update and delete. Insert, update and delete. Here also that is DRL. Okay, I'll delete later. So these insert, update, delete is used for manipulating the data. Another thing I forgot is like DRL. Yes, data retrieval language. Data retrieval language is nothing but you need to retrieve the data from the database. The most important thing and the most important term in select. Whatever you do, you need to select something. So if you want to retrieve the data from the database, you need to select select from the database, and you need to retrieve from the tables, and you need to manipulate. So that comes under DRL. Yes, some people will say select also comes under DML. That's also fine, but you need to be more aware about what is DRL. So if some persons ask, please tell me what is the language that has been used for DRL, you need not blink for some time. So that is nothing but retrieval. The retrieval has only one, that is select. Transaction control language, that is commit, save point, rollback. So commit, save point and rollback. So you need not to worry on these terms, where we are going to discuss more in detail. So as of now, you get to look onto this, what are the terms that has been used here. These are the much more important terms. So you just go through what is coming, just have a glimpse out of it. You need not to worry on commit, save point and rollback items. And later is data control language, that is grant and revoke. Again the same, we are going to discuss more in detail. We are going to discuss all the types of languages in SQL in detail in each and every classes in our upcoming classes. You need not to worry, but make sure that you are being aware of what is DDL, that you should be able to tell create, alter, drop. What is DML? It is for manipulating the data, insert, update and delete. Yes. What happens here? Creator, or I think I forgot one. Truncate. Yes, create, also drop and truncate. Okay. Yes, create, alter, drop and truncate. I forgot to write a truncate keyword. Yes, as of now you just go through what it is, what are the definition, what are the types of languages. It's like DDL, DML, TCL. So you please be aware of these terms, and we are going to discuss more in detail on this in our later upcoming classes. You need not to worry, definitely our classes is going to be really helpful for you guys. Okay, let's start with the terms that has been used in SQL Server. What are the terms that has been used in SQL Server, basically on the database level, and what it is and what it has been used. So the environment, let us understand the environment of SQL. Okay, so the first and most thing is like the first and most thing that you need to be aware in order to get the data from the databases. So in order to get the data from the databases, first I shall be clear the hierarchy about the SQL. First comes the database, second comes the tables, and here comes the schema. Actually, schema and table has rows and columns. So this is the hierarchy of database, schema, tables, and row. A database can have multiple tables. A single database can have multiple tables. Imagine, yeah, multiple schema. A database can have a multiple schema also, multiple tables also. One schema can have a multiple tables also. So let's me a database can have multiple schemas, multiple tables is nothing but again rows or columns. Also there are other relations. A database can have single schema, multiple tables. So you need not to worry. On what the schema is. Schema is nothing but an environment in the database. So what is the environment? You're creating a database. What is the environment? You're creating the table. That is what the default schema is in SQL Server. It is called as DBO. DBO is nothing but a database object. It is a default schema. So apart from that, we can manually create a schema. We shall discuss more in detail in later session. So first of all, please understand this hierarchy. First of all, please understand its hierarchy. First comes the database, then comes the schema, then comes the tables. Table is nothing but rows and columns. Yeah, that is what. Imagine your database is a folder. Imagine your database is a folder, and when you click on it, you got to have some files in it that are tables. That are the tables, and the data and the table has some data, like, so that can be called as rows and columns and data that you have in your database. And yes, I think you're much more clear on this. Up to this, you're clear on what we discussed today, and we shall go through with we shall stop as of now for today, and we shall continue our next classes more in detail on the environment of SQL. I think we are good to go here, and let me just walk through a quick walkthrough on what we discussed today, so that you can be able to work on the exercises. So today we walked through what is in a query language. Structured query language is nothing but, in order to query to the table, we need a structured query language. The programming languages there for front end. For back end, we need a language called structured query language. And we have come across what is the database. Database is nothing but a collection of records that can be a variety of items. And we have also come across the history of databases as well, that is flat files and evaluation of data. And a database management system is nothing but tables and columns. That is, they used to have a single table. RDBMS is a concept of relational tables. I think we have discussed more in detail on that. This is the most important point. Single table, it is an RDBMS. Many tables, and many tables is the DBMS, that is RDBMS. Single table is the DBMS, and many tables is the RDBMS, by maintaining the relational. So I think we have discussed more in detail on that, and types of languages, that is DDL, DML, DRL, TCL and DCL. First you get through this knowledge on. So during the next class, when I say what is DDL, you should be able to be aware about you should be able to say like create, alter, drop and truncate. So when I say DML, it is insert, update, delete. You should be able to do that, because these are the important terms that has been used in SQL. And we have gone through this hierarchy, the environment of SQL. That is in a hierarchy like database, schema and tables. So I'm stopping it for today for now, and we shall discuss more in detail on the environment of SQL in our next class. Thanks for watching this video. Please support us. Thanks for watching strictlybi.com. This is Vispajit signing again. Thank you everyone.